Hello, hello to my friends and allies out there. This is Eric, your course coordinator for OnRamp's Computer Science 302, coming back at you today to talk about string variables. String variables are very similar to numerical variables, which we learned about in our previous tutorial. However, strings are defined as text. So rather than storing numbers, string variables are going to hold words or letters. Let's see how that looks in action. We're going to make Scratch here. When we press a certain key, ask for our name. We're going to enter in our name, and then Scratch is going to respond and say, "Nice to meet you," and then call us by that name. So let's start off by declaring a variable. Remember, declaring is when you create a variable in programming. So I'm going to click Make a Variable here. I'm going to call this your name. And when we declare a variable, it's also important to initialize it. So let's drag a set block out. We can put it right underneath set counter to 0. And this time we'll set your name to question mark, because we don't know what the user's name is yet. Let's make it so that when the user presses the space bar, Scratch asks for the user's name and then records it into that variable. So I'm going to duplicate one of these blocks right here that say if a certain key is pressed, then do something. I'm going to put it up at the top just so that we can see it easier. And I'm going to change this to space bar. So when space is pressed, I can get rid of everything else that's inside of here because we're going to have to put our own code inside of there. So in order to ask a question and get user input, that's going to be under the Sensing tab. So I'm going to click that. And one of the blocks down here says ask, and look, it's even saying, "What's your name?" Perfect. So we're going to put that right there. Ask, "What's your name?" and wait. You'll notice underneath that there's also a little block that says answer. This is going to be a variable that's built into Scratch that records whatever the user puts. So I'm just going to drag this out and kind of drop it in space right here for a second. We will use that in a moment. Now I'm going to come over to data, and we need to set our your name variable. And we're going to set it, we don't want to set it to 0, we want to set it to whatever the user puts in as their answer. So set your name to the answer that the user says. Okay, now all that's left is to make Scratch actually address the user by name. So to do that, we're going to come over to the Looks tab. We'll drag this Say Hello block out. Change this 2 to 5 seconds, it makes it a little bit longer. Now, if we were to just put the your name variable into here, he would just say the user's name. And that would be kind of awkward. We actually want him to say hello and then say the user's name. So in order to do that, there's a special block that we have to grab out of operators, and it's going to be this join block right here. So I'm going to drag this out. And in the first part of it, I'm going to say hello and a space because we need to put a space in between the hello and the actual variable. And I'm going to take the your name and put it in the second box right there. So it will say hello, and then whatever is saved into the your name variable, I'll drop that into this box. And now Scratch should address us by name. Let's see what happens. Come over, I press the green flag. In order to activate this conditional, I press space. Sure enough, he asks, "What's our name?" I type Eric, and he says, "Hello, Eric." So now we know that our variable worked. So what did we learn? We learned that there are multiple types of variables. We can save numbers into variables, but we can also save text, and we call those types of variables strings. So this has been Eric, your course coordinator for OnRamp's CS 302, signing out. Until next time.